I am Yellowbird Yellow Bill, and this is part 2 of my Resiliency series. Tonight we're going to go over Hunt the Good Stuff and ATC. Alright, Hunt the Good Stuff. This is based on research done by Martin Seligman and Robert Emmons. When you hunt the good stuff, you are taking time to notice and reflect on positive experiences in your life. This will build optimism and positive emotions like gratitude. It counteracts a negativity bias that a lot of us struggle with in trading. There's one trader that specifically comes to mind when I think of negativity bias, and I'm not going to call him out specifically, but I'm sure we all know who I'm talking about. That negativity bias is going to play into some other things that we're going to discuss later in different classes. All right, hunting the good stuff. It could lead to better health, better sleep, feeling calm, lower depression, greater satisfaction in your life, more optimal performance, and better relationships. Because we're not only worried about trading here. When trading, you need to worry about your entire life, all right? Because if something's going on at home or in your personal life, it's going to affect your trading, all right? All right, hunting the good stuff reflections. Write down 3 good things each day and write a reflection next to each positive event about one or more of the following topics: why this good thing happened, what this good thing means to you, what you could do tomorrow to enable more of this good thing, and what ways you or others contribute to this good thing. I've got an example written down here from the other day. Today I followed my trade plan. Reflection: following my trade plan means I was in control of myself and my emotions. This happened because I remained calm and followed my checklist. I went through my checklist that I have, that I went through in my journaling class. All right, next we're going to go over the ATC model. All right, this was originally developed by Dr. Albert Ellis. It highlights the link between thoughts and emotions or reactions. You use the ATC model to identify the activating event, A, your heat of the moment thoughts, T, and the consequences, C. All right, you have an activating event, the trigger, a challenge, adversity, or a positive event. Thoughts, your interpretations of the activating event. What you say to yourself in the heat of the moment, the consequences, emotions, and reactions. Now, this can go both ways. You can use this for both negative and positive things. All right, next we have this little worksheet here. This is available in my channel, Yellowbird Resiliency. All right, the purpose of this is we all have situations that we handle effectively and other situations that we don't handle as effectively as we need to. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate how effective you are at dealing with the following types of situations. Put an asterisk next to situations you would like to handle more effectively. So a lot of this is going through, and it's life related. All right. There's career events in here, like interaction with your peers or with your leaders, receiving a promotion. There's family things in here, like communicating with family members, dating or social situations, your finances, spiritual concerns, personal things on here. All right. Because once again, that personal life will bleed into your training. You can sit here and say you can compartmentalize it all you want, but if you're stressed out before you even start trading, the it's just going to make trading is just going to magnify that stress even more, and you're going to have a bad day. Down here, we have some other blocks. We could put, the more trading related things that you want to look at. All right, take some time. This is something you're going to do in a notebook right here by yourself. Take some time and reflect. Write a recent, meaningful, and specific examples of situations you did not handle as effectively as you needed to. Look at what types of situation on the previous worksheet that you rated yourself low on when coming up with examples. All right, write a recent, meaningful, and specific example of a time where your emotions and reactions were out of proportion to your heat of the moment thought. All right, use the list of questions below to help yourself identify activating events to work with throughout the training. When was the last time something happened that stressed you out? When was the last incident in which you were faced with a conflict? What about at home? Is there a recent, vivid time when you were faced with some news that made you anxious, excited, annoyed, angry, disappointed? What about at work? Is there a recent, vivid time when you were faced with some news that made you anxious, excited, annoyed, angry, disappointed? What's the best thing that's happened to you recently? Recall a vivid, specific, positive event that sparked positive emotion. Can you think of a time when you didn't do as well as you'd hoped and it impacted your confidence or future performance? All right, these are your thought themes and your emotions and reactions. You're going to see on the next worksheet how this all ties in. All right, you have your thought themes like loss and the emotions and reactions of sadness and withdrawal, thought theme of danger, anxiety, agitation, trespass. All right, trespass is when someone is invading or ignoring your emotional boundaries, all right, and that can make you angry or aggressive. Inflicting harm, guilt, or apologizing, negative comparison, embarrassment, hiding, positive comparison, pride, sharing future achievements, appreciating what you received, gratitude, giving back, paying forward, positive future, hope, energizing, taking action. Now, these last ones are what, when you can take this and turn it into a positive and use it in the other way instead of just focusing on negatives. All right. Here is a worksheet. There's blank worksheets. There's these blank worksheets available in the worksheet in Yellowbird Resiliency channel. All right, describe a recent, vivid, and meaningful activating event. All right, I blew a PA account. All right, you went through the evaluation process. You passed the evaluation. You paid your, how many ever dollars for your lifetime charge. You went ahead and you had that funded PA account and you blew it. All right. You overtraded it. You took some bad setups. You got overly excited, whatever. All right. All right. Your thoughts. What you said to yourself in the heat of the moment. All right. Number one, my spouse is going to be angry. All right. If you have a spouse, you can understand this quite a lot. All right, your thought theme is danger, because if your spouse is not happy with you, it can be very dangerous. You're worried and anxious. You try and hide it or avoid talking about it with your spouse. Another heat of the moment thought is, how are other people so successful? Okay, you sit there and you look at the room, or you look at, the Gaines channel, stuff like that, and people are posting all this success and everything like that. This is a negative comparison. You could feel embarrassed. You may start ignoring people, staying quiet, stuff like that. Let me tell you right now, from personal experience, all the success that I post in the Discord has been led with a lot of failure. I struggled a lot. I absolutely, positively struggled a lot trading in my early times. And there are certain things to this day that I struggle with and continue to struggle with. So don't ever compare yourself, your negative action or whatever you did to someone else's success. All right. Another heat of the moment thought is I lost that money. Okay. You paid for that evaluation. You paid for the PA. Now all that money's lost, and any potential money that you could have earned through that PA account. Thought theme is loss. The emotion would be sadness, and the reaction could be becoming withdrawn. And then you go down here to the bottom of the worksheet. Are my emotions and reactions helping or harming? My reaction isn't helping. I'm avoiding people and because I'm embarrassed. All right. The Moneyline group, we are here to help each other out. This trading thing, sitting at home alone or at your desk alone, trading, trying to navigate your way through the markets. It's a very lonely thing. And that's what I think is so great about Moneyline is it's this community of people that know exactly what you're going through. We've all been there. We're all doing it together. And so that gives us an outlet to where we can work on things with each other, share ideas and everything like that. So if we try, let's say Coach Bombay tries a system, is BNSS. When he was going through the early days of BNSS, we were all working on it together and we would try different things. And instead of Coach just sitting there trying all these different things by himself, we were all trying them together. And it was reducing the time it took to make it a successful system. So you can take that with everything that we do in this group. You can sit here and think, oh, maybe I want to use HA candles or something like that. And then you can talk to other people that have used HA candles and, kind of figure out whether you want to use them or not and not have to waste your time or money on that. All right. Next. All right. The key principles. Separate the ATC. Just the facts. Okay. You want to put who, what, when, where, your interpretation, what you say to yourself in the heat of the moment, and then your consequences, your emotions, and your reactions. All right, writing all this down is going to help you identify any patterns in your thoughts that undercut your performance and your mental toughness. This is going to lead to self-awareness, which is the primary target of ATC. All right, the whole time you're writing these down and doing these worksheets on these things, the whole goal is for you to be able to become self-aware of what you're doing so you can identify the problem and then fix the problem. Okay. All right, so what is the skill? ATC is a method to identify your thoughts about an activating event, and the consequences of those thoughts, and keep our thoughts under our control. When should you use it? Use ATC anytime you're curious about your emotions or reactions. When you don't like your emotions or reactions, or when you're stuck in a pattern and wearing one set of glasses. All right, when you're always constantly looking at it the same way, always negative and everything like that, that's what it means by the one set of glasses. Okay, you get just so focused on the negative that you can't focus on anything else. All right, how do I use it? Describe the activating event objectively, identify your thoughts, and identify your consequences, your emotions and reactions. Okay, that is the end of the slideshow right there. What are your questions? Anyone have any questions in the chat? You can either unmute and ask the question or type it out in the chat. All right. Henry Hippo is asking about options contract entry. All right. Retest resistance, support, enter the trade, find a nice contract price, enter the trade. He's struggling with trade entry. Okay. So, as far as options, I am not the guy to talk to you about options. Pretty much every option that I touch, I lose money on. So I am not going, when talking about finding contract price to enter and stuff, that is something I struggle with too much and I've lost too much money over. I can't cover that. All right. So entering a trade strategy. Okay. Retesting support and resistance. All right. Give me a second here. Let me pull up that image real quick. Okay. Nope. All right, so this is my trade recap here. All right, so specifically working with support and resistance. We'll talk about this trade right here, 3.5. All right, it was an add to this bull flag, but we can discuss it as if it was a separate trade, because had I not been in this position here, I would have taken it as its own separate trade. All right, so we have the price comes above Globex high. This would apply to any support, resistance, key level is how I would play it the same. It comes back down, tests it, and then comes back up, and this down candle closes above it. If it wicks down and then closes back above it, I'm going to enter here on this candle. All right, so the close of this candle, the open of this candle, getting in here just under 1300. All right, and then it'll come up, and my stop would be any close below the Globex high level. Or, I mean, if it's going to come, if it just busts down and we get, start getting one of these large 20-point candles, I'm going to close out of it, because I'm not willing to take that loss straight out the gate. So with my system, the way I use take profits is I take profits automatically every 10 points. And then after the first take profit, I move my stop loss to break even. That is a example right there of how I play a key level. That's the only real key level I took, because here I played the break of the trend line. And then down here, it was the break of this trend line. But, I mean, we could take this trend line away. And once again, you see the price action come up, test Globex low, fail, test Globex low, fail. We've got these wicks above. If this trend line wasn't here and we were just testing this, I might bite on this and take a short entry here and risk a close above this level right here. If we look at the beginning here where it wicked down and entered, it bounced right off. I really don't like just taking bounces of key levels, but this right here, this bounce could be an entry. I usually like to see the price wick down and come back above and close back above, or wick down and close back below that level. Does that answer your question, Henry? Yes, sir. Anytime. All right. Any other questions? How do I deal with FOMO? Like other people scalping. Okay. So one thing that you're talking about when you're watching the charts and everyone's in the chat, or we're on voice and we're like, hey, I'm here. I just got 10 points. I got 10, Okay. That just comes with exercising patience. I mean, it's kind of a cop out to say, but I mean, you just have to exercise that patience and trade your system. What I do a lot of times is I will just minimize the chat if I find myself getting,
too much into someone else's system or trying to chase. The other day, I posted on my recap that I did, chase one of Little Chef's plays. Because, I mean, my chart, there's no VWAP here, but he's always talking, hey, we're testing VWAP here, we're testing VWAP, this and that. And so I did take that trade, and I do that sometimes. But if you're sitting here watching everyone else trade and be successful, that goes into what I said earlier in the class. You got to kind of just detach yourself and remember that you have your system. You have your edge. You have to trade your edge, because your edge is not going to be, my edge. And the way you trade, the way you see the chart, the way you react to things is going to be different than the way Little Chef does, or Coach, or myself, or, Futures Noob, or anyone else. So that's something I had struggled with in the past, and it just comes, I would say what helped me out was building confidence in my own system. If you can find that confidence in your system, then you will be able to block out some of that noise, filter out some of that noise. All right, Henry. Lately, I entered trade one contract starter. Does control risk, and I'm tree. I'm adding a few more contracts, 3 to 7, in my conviction and how the market is moving. Try. Okay, so Henry, from what it sounds like, when you enter the trade, all right, so you see, for example, let's say you see this flag forming and you enter down here. Do you have a set take profit on that contract that you're entering here? Are you, taking profit here at the top of the pole? Are you taking profit at a certain number of points? Or are you just letting it run, and once you hit a certain amount of money, you close it out? Okay, so you do have a set profit target of 25%. Okay. Okay, so if you're entering here and you're looking for that 25% move, this is another reason why I don't like options is you've got so many other factors dealing in with that 25%, like your implied volatility, if it takes a long time for it to move and get that, like if it's just grinding like in this area like it did the other day, your theta, especially on 0 DTE, your theta is just going to eat into your profits. So I would say if you're having troubles reaching that 25% target consistently, I would lower that target to 20, 15, something like that, to take those profits, scale more aggressively on it, and then move to break even. All right, any other questions? All right. Do you guys want me to run through the resiliency class one more time real quick, since everyone joined after I had started? All right. We'll go through this again. If you look in the channel Yellowbird Resiliency on the Discord, I posted a Word file that has the 2 worksheets that we'll use for this class. We're going to go over hunting the good stuff and ATC. All right, hunt the good stuff. This is based on research done by Martin Seligman and Robert Emmons. When you hunt the good stuff, you are taking time to notice and reflect on positive experiences in your life. This will build optimism and positive emotions like gratitude. It counteracts the negative bias that a lot of us struggle with in trading. All right. You see it in the Discord all the time, the negative bias and how people are just, they're looking at things negatively, and that causes them to spiral sometimes and just continue down that rabbit hole. All right, following the principles of hunting the good stuff could lead to better health, better sleep, feeling calm, lower depression, and a greater life satisfaction, more optimal performance, and better relationships. This resiliency that I'm teaching is like it's a whole life thing. You can apply these principles not only to trading, but your life, because your life will bleed over into your trading. If you're stressed out about, how to pay for your kids' braces or something like that, that's going to put pressure on your trading. If you're stressed out about, just anything, it's going to put pressure on your trading, and it's going to have a negative impact on your trading. All right, reflections. Here's a reflection that I did the other day. You simply write down 3 good things each day and write a reflection next to each positive event about one or more of the following topics. Why is this good thing happening? What this good thing means to you? What can you do tomorrow to enable more of this good thing? What ways you or others contribute to this good thing? The good thing, the other day, I followed my trade plan. All right. Following my trade plan, what that means is that I was in control of myself and my emotions. All right. This happened because I remained calm and followed my checklist. The checklist is what I went through in my trading journal class. All right. Next is the ATC model, originally developed by Dr. Albert Ellis. It highlights the link between thoughts and emotions or reactions. Use the ATC model to identify the activating event, A, your heat of the moment thoughts, T, and the consequences, C, your thoughts generate. All right, you have the activating event, the trigger, a challenge, adversity, or a positive event. You can use this in a positive event also, like when a lot of us, including myself, when we make a huge play and we gain, a lot of money, sometimes our emotions get the better of us, and we get amped up and overly excited, and then we start trading like doo-doo berries. And so you can use this both for negative events or positive events to see how those events trigger your thoughts and then your consequences. All right. So you have your activating event, your thoughts, your interpretations of the activating event, what you say to yourself in the heat of the moment, and then what are the consequences from those thoughts, your emotions and your reactions. All right. Here is a worksheet. This is one of the worksheets that is in the folder. All right, we all have situations that we handle effectively and other situations that we don't handle as effectively as we need to. On a scale of 1 to 10, rate how effective you are in dealing with the following types of situations. Put an asterisk next to the situations you would like to handle more effectively. A lot of these have to do with your personal life, your job, your family, and stuff like that, because once again, that bleeds into your trading. All right, there's another function down here to where you can put in, more trading related things. This is I've got a Word document, and it should be completely, you should be able to edit it and change these as needed. All right, and then what we do on this next page will tie back into this one. All right, take some time to reflect and write down recent, meaningful, and specific examples of situations you did not handle as effectively as you needed to. Look at the types of situations on the previous page that you rated yourself low on when coming up with examples. Write a recent, meaningful, and specific example of a time where your emotions and reactions were out of proportion with your heat of the moment thoughts. All right. Use the list of questions below to help yourself identify activating events to work with throughout the rest of this. When was the last time something happened that stressed you out? When was the last incident in which you were faced with a conflict? What about at home? Is there a recent vivid time when you were faced with some news that made you anxious, excited, annoyed, angry, or disappointed? What about at work? Is there a recent vivid time when you were faced with some news that made you anxious, excited, annoyed, angry, disappointed? What's the best thing that's happened to you recently? Recall a vivid, specific, positive event that sparked positive emotions. Can you think of a time when you didn't do as well as you'd hoped and it impacted your confidence or future performance? All right, these are your thought themes. You have loss, danger, trespass, inflicting harm, negative comparison, positive comparison, appreciating what you received, and positive future. These last three, you are obviously positive, so you'd use those when looking at, positive events. The first ones are negative, obviously, loss, danger, inflicting harm, negative comparison. Those are pretty self-explanatory. Trespass, that is when someone is invading or ignoring your personal boundaries. All right, and then these are some of the emotions or reactions you may have to these thought themes. I'll tie them in on the next part. Here, this is another worksheet that you have in the Word document that I dropped in Yellowbird Resiliency. Describe a recent, vivid, and meaningful activating event. Here on the example, I put blew up a PA account. Okay, you went through the evaluation process. You may have struggled and, gone through a couple of evals. Now you've got your PA account, your funded account. You're ready to go. You've paid your money. You're ready to go. You're all excited, amped up, and you hit a couple of bad plays, and that drawdown gets closer and closer, and you just... Oh, hang on. You get closer and closer, and you just blow it up. All right. What are some of the heat of the moment thoughts? All right, my spouse is going to be angry. All right, some of us, no matter how supporting your spouse may be, they may be angry, that you blew up the account. The thought theme may be danger. You're worried and anxious. You try to hide or avoid. You try to hide it from your spouse or avoid talking about it with your spouse. Another heat of the moment thought is other people are so successful. This is something I was touching on in the Q&A. You see all the success of everyone in the group, and that may have a negative impact because you may use that to make a negative comparison, which may cause you to feel embarrassed and which would cause you to ignore people or, stay quiet within the chat and stuff like that. And that's something that could have a negative impact. I love to see everyone active in the chat, and because that's just helping yourself when you're active in the chat and you're talking things through. Because I know some things with myself, sometimes it just makes it easier to think things through if I talk it out. Another heat of the moment thought is I lost that money. You paid your eval fee, you paid your funded fee, and then, let's say you had made a couple of $1,000s in your funded account and then you blew it all. You're out those two fees and that $1,000. So you've got that thought theme of loss, which would trigger an emotion of sadness. Maybe your reaction may be becoming withdrawn or, just unmotivated or losing that optimism. Are your emotions helping or harming? My reaction isn't helping. I'm avoiding people and I'm becoming embarrassed. All right, this is blank. You can print these out, write them in. I would recommend that. I prefer to write them out myself. I've got a few. I've got a folder just full of these, honestly. All right, the key principles: separate the A from the T from the C. A's, just the facts: who, what, when, and where. T, your interpretation, uh, your thought, what you say to yourself in the heat of the moment. And then the consequences, your emotions and your reactions. All right, this is used to detect any patterns in your thoughts that undercut your performance and mental toughness. The whole idea behind this is to become self-aware of your emotions, to find those problems with that you are having with the emotions so you can fix them and go ahead and work towards a better trading performance. All right. Any more questions? You can either unmute and ask the question on voice or type it in the chat. Your choice. Yeah. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And if you have any questions about this, you can ask during, the regular trading day, or, send me a DM or something like that. Work on it together. I'm thinking about, once I do put out all the information, maybe starting like a boot camp of a couple of people that sign up, and then, we work through these worksheets together and everything like that. And then, once you become a graduate of the boot camp, you move on, and then we get some more members in there and everything like that to try and get some more personalized help on these things. Now, but when I say that, let me add a caveat there. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist or anything like that. I'm just trained through the military in resiliency. That's it. Like, I can't get too in depth with things, but I'm wanting to help and want to definitely see people succeed. Yeah, no problem. We're here for you guys. We're here for the community. That's what this is all about. Like, I started out just a normal Discord member. I mean, I had hopped from Discord to Discord to Discord, trying to find a community, and then found Moneyline and just found my way through trading with the people of Moneyline, and they all helped me out. And so I want to give back and help everyone, as many people as I can. And just, we're here to answer questions, and we're here to help. That's what we're here to do. And just try, and if someone asks you questions, try and send them in the right direction, answer their question, or, point them in the direction to where they can find the answer themselves. I mean, we're a community here. That's what we do. We're just here to help each other out. Yeah, progressing from the struggle, from the pits of despair, is definitely the goal, and it is a very personal process. I mean, I struggled with it for months and months and months, and I hate to say, how long it took me, because everyone's different and everyone's struggle is going to be different. But all I can say is don't give up. You only lose when you give up. It's the balance sheet. There may be a lot of red on the balance sheet, but the balance sheet isn't closed if you don't give up. You haven't lost unless you give up in trading. The second you give up and you stop trading and you quit learning, that balance sheet is closed and that red is on there forever, you know? Hey, Krieg, don't let one day define you, all right? Don't, definitely do not let one day define you. I'll let you in on a little secret here. One of my worst days. I took this was on the option side. I took Tesla puts, and it was a very emotional trade. I was very angry and I just wanted to see the stock go down. All the TA and everything set up, but I took puts. And I took um 4 figures worth of puts. And I literally just spiraled and emotionally spiraled and rode those things down to zero. Let them expire and just took the 4-figure loss straight to the mouth. And that was one of my darkest days, honestly. And I knew I was messing up. I could see myself messing up, and I just allowed it to happen. It was definitely I look back on it, and luckily that was a Friday, and I took the weekend and I looked back on it, and that was a definitely big learning point for me right there. So don't let the one day define you. Try and take it and learn from it and use that lesson because everything's a lesson. The losses are lessons, the wins are lessons. It's all a lesson. You just got to try and find out what that lesson is. Yeah, walking away when you're up is a tough one. So what I do with that is I have a yeah, that's even tougher. That last $100, that last I don't know exactly. It's a different number for each person and different size account and everything. But it seems like that last $500 is the hardest. You see people all the time just trying to force the trade. I mean, you try and go ahead and force the trade. One thing I do when I'm up is if I'm up on the day, I will, if I'm real green, I'll size down on the day immediately. So I will either switch to micros or I will size down in the number of contracts I take. And if I'm up big, if I'm up decent, I'll take the trades, and continue to trade as long as I'm winning. If I can make green trades, I'll continue to trade. But the first time I make a red trade, even if it is I lose $1 on the trade, I'm out for the day. Because once you make that red trade and then you're like, oh man, I had $1,000. Now I only have $950. Well, let me quick try and make that $50 back to get back up to 1,000. And then you're hunting for an entry. And when you hunt for the entry, you're not waiting for your setup. You've lost your edge. And then you're going to lose again. And then you're like, well, crap. Now I'm down to 900. Now I need to make 100 to get back. Okay, let me find that entry. And it just compounds and it continues and you just spiral. At least that's the case with me. And so I'll hit my mark. If I'm doing an evaluation, $200 a day. That's it. On an eval, $200 a day. That's all I need. I'll hit $200 on that eval and I'll go down to, a couple of micros. And then the second I get a red trade, I switch to either a different account, a different evaluation, a PA, or a funded account, my personally funded account, or I'll switch to sim and, trade and continue to get that screen time and that practice and everything like that. And it just comes down to the discipline and stopping yourself, because it is very easy to spiral. Very, very easy to spiral. Yeah, walking away and clearing your mind will help out quite a bit. You definitely, just that moment, couple of moments that you take to yourself will help you clear your mind and get a reset. Pocahontas can tell you, there'll be times in the day where I will walk away from the computer and just go do something random for, 15, 30 minutes and then come back to it. That's one of the freedoms we have with trading, is we can walk away at any time. You make some money, at 10 o'clock in the morning, you can stop. And with futures, you make that money at 7 o'clock in the morning. You've got the rest of the day to do whatever you want. And that's one of the great things about trading, and especially with futures. If you count Globex into the next day, like most of us do, what I did for a while was I would trade Globex, and if I made my daily goal in Globex, I wouldn't trade RTH the next day. I wouldn't. I would go spend that time with, the kids or whatever. Go mess around, do whatever I wanted. Maintaining that clarity will help you maintain your edge. And so be sure to take the time to walk away and recharge that mental capital, because that's as important as your financial capital in your account. Henry, I am married, and in fact, I am married to Pocahontas. She is my wife. That's why she's in the chat giving me crap about Pitbull and all that stuff. It's this little joke she has where she, I don't know why she thinks I listen to Pitbull, but it's pretty humorous. All right, Krieg. We'll see you later. I think that's my sign also to go ahead and sign out. Mitch, I will get the recording up here shortly. I'll do it tonight when I get off. All right. Recording will be in Yellowbird Resiliency, and the worksheets are already there in Yellowbird Resiliency channel. All right. Y'all have a good night, and appreciate y'all.